In 2025, EU beef production fell 1.3% to 6.73 million tonnes due to sustainability pressures, per the AHDB. Top meat and dairy companies account for over 80% of the EU's methane emissions. Can technology make beef and dairy harvesting sustainable and ethical? Europe's largest processing factory, Danish Crown in Denmark, harvests thousands of cattle weekly at its Holsted facility. This supports Denmark's beef harvest. Where the Danish Crown handles 64% of cattle processing. The process starts with international transport. Veterinary staff check cattle for illness, vaccinations, and identification tags. They ensure only healthy animals proceed to harvest. Loading areas are quiet, shaded, and slip-resistant to reduce stress. Cattle enter ventilated steel pens for air transport, with space for movement and water access. Attendants monitor conditions during flights to ensure animals arrive ready for harvest. These steps follow EFSA 2025 guidelines, which require better housing and feeding to cut stress. After safe transport, the beef harvesting process begins with advanced technology. Danish Crown, cattle move through low-stress lanes to the processing area. Strict protocols minimize discomfort before stunning. Carcasses hang on conveyors. Passing workstations for hide removal, organ separation and splitting. Robots and infrared sensors ensure precise cuts and quality checks. Blades adjust for size differences, and every piece is traced for supply chain transparency. This automation boosts efficiency and reduces contamination risks. Unlike the US, where growth hormones are allowed, the EU bans them, ensuring safer beef for consumers. Some animal rights groups argue harvesting harms livestock and push for plant-based options. EU beef supports US markets, including burgers, with imports up in 2025 due to trade deals. Methane emissions at 54% of the EU's man-made total remain a challenge. Biodigesters manage waste during harvest to lower environmental impact. From meat harvesting, the focus shifts to dairy production. Dairy farms in France and Germany produce 1/3 of EU milk. Hans, a farmer at Veldhoven Dairy in the Netherlands, says, "Smart collars help me care for my cows, but emissions are a concern. Cows live in spacious barns with clean bedding, ventilation, food and water. Hans checks cows daily, ensuring they are healthy and comfortable. Smart collars track activity, eating and health, cutting medication use by 20%. Rotary milking systems collect milk quickly and gently. Each cow's milk is tested automatically for bacteria and quality. EFSA 2025 rules require 13 square metres per animal and 60 centimetres of feeding space. Farmers use apps to manage feeding and breeding. AI tools, part of a $5,590,000,000 0 cents market, predict health issues early. Robots in the Netherlands handle feeding tasks. Manure is recycled as fertilizer and solar panels power farms. These efforts ensure a steady milk harvest year-round, even in tough weather. By 2034, global dairy production will grow 1.8% annually per OECD FAO, while EU beef may drop 6.7% by 2035 due to environmental pressures. Farms in France use solar panels and biodigesters to cut emissions. Compared to the US, where production stays stable in 2025, Europe leads in hormone-free harvest and welfare laws. New EU rules in 2025 protect billions of animals. Look for EU organic labels on beef and dairy at stores like Walmart. To support sustainable harvesting, your choices can drive cleaner, safer food production worldwide. Check product labels next time you shop to make a difference in how food is harvested.
Hello. Australia's beef industry is a global powerhouse, and at its heart are cutting-edge processing plants that process more than 20,000 head of cattle every day. These aren't just cutting-edge hubs, they're the future of meat production in Queensland and beyond. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of a processing factory? Leave a comment and follow Trending Farm's journey to see if it resonates with you. The people powering these processing factories are as impressive as the tech itself. Take John Mitchell, a facility manager at JBS Beef City in Queensland, who spent 20 years in the industry. The machines handle the heavy lifting now faster and safer than I ever dreamed, he says. Alongside him is Sarah Newen, a robotics engineer who fine-tunes the systems. They work in spotless control rooms, monitoring screens that track every step of the process. These facilities, scattered across Australia's beef belt from Queensland to Victoria, process millions of kilos of beef yearly. It's a far cry from the manual labor of decades past, and it's all centered in these high-tech processing factories. Where does this magic happen? One standout is JBS Beef City, a processing factory that handles up to 1,400 cattle per day. Cattle arrive via automated gates, guided into pens before entering the gleaming stainless steel interior. The facility spans 26 hectares and employs over 800 people, blending human skill with machine efficiency. This place runs like clockwork, John notes, pointing to the seamless flow from pen to production line. These processing factories aren't just big. They're designed to meet Australia's role as the world's second largest beef exporter. Have you ever wondered where your steak really comes from? Now let's dive into the machines that make these processing factories tick. The star is the automated stunning system, using AI-guided bolt guns that deliver a humane knockout in under a second. Then, there's the robotic carcass splitter, equipped with laser-guided blades. It slices a carcass in 0.2 seconds with 99% accuracy, far surpassing human precision. Conveyor belts, moving at 500 carcasses per hour, tie it all together. This tech cuts human error by 95%, Sarah explains proudly. These systems cost upwards of $5 million each, but they pay off by boosting output and safety. It's a high-stakes investment for a high-reward industry. So, how does a cow become a steak in these processing factories? It starts with the cattle entering via automated gates, stunned instantly by the AI system. Next, robotic arms skin and split the carcass, guided by sensors that adjust for size and weight. Finally, the meat is chilled in massive coolers, dropping from 38 DGC to 7 DGC in hours before packaging. The entire process takes less than 20 minutes per animal, a speed unthinkable without automation. It's clean, quick, and efficient, says Tom Reynolds, a veteran cattle farmer who supplies JBS. Efficiency is king in these processing factories, but does faster always mean better? Why does all this matter? These processing factories feed a hungry world, supporting Australia's $13 billion beef industry. They meet soaring global demand. Think 2.8 million tons exported annually while cutting waste and labor costs. Yet, there's debate. Some worry automation reduces jobs, with traditional abattoirs employing 30% more workers than modern sites. Others argue it's greener, slashing water use by 15% compared to older methods. This keeps us ahead of the game, Tom insists, nodding to the export ships loaded with beef. What do you think? Does high-tech farming help or hurt rural communities? This revolution didn't happen overnight. In the 1,980s, processing factories relied on manual labor, slow, risky, and inconsistent. By the 2000s, automation crept in, and today's systems are a $500 million leap forward. Compare that to the U.S., where similar tech lags 5 to 10 years behind Australia's pace. We've rewritten the rulebook in 20 years, Sarah says, reflecting on the shift. These processing factories now churn out 25% more beef per hour than their manual ancestors. It's a story of progress, but is newer always better, or do we lose something along the way? In short, Australia's processing factories are a marvel of modern farming. They blend million-dollar machines with humans who know how to deliver beef faster, safer, and smarter. From the original breeding cows to the sizzling steak, it's a system built for tomorrow.
It's 4:30 a.m. and the Nebraska sky is pitch black. John rises in his modest home, the aroma of coffee cutting through the pre-dawn chill. He's headed to a state-of-the-art processing factory, where automated conveyors, precision cutting robots, and real-time sensors set it apart from older plants. Our tech makes us faster and safer, John says, lacing his boots, but it's still a grind. Unlike smaller factories struggling with outdated gear, this one's $10 million 0-cents upgrades keep it competitive. Driving past cornfields, John braces for the day. Tariffs like the 2023 China trade restrictions have spiked export costs, squeezing the processing factory's margins. We're always chasing customer demand for cheap quality meat, he says. The factory battles in a fierce market, balancing retailer needs with rising energy costs. At 5:00 a.m., John clocks in, slipping into his apron and gloves. The factory's advanced air filtration cuts the stench, but the metallic tang of meat lingers. As robots whir and conveyors hum, John's shift kicks off. Curious about this high-tech world? Drop a comment below. By 8:00 IEM, the processing factory is a whirlwind of motion. John mans the cutting line, where robotic arms handle initial butchering, but human skill finishes the job. Robots can't match a trained hand, he says, slicing with precision. Processing 1,000 hogs daily doubles the output of smaller competitors, and this factory's tech edge shine. But challenges loom. Labor shortages, high energy costs, and consumer demand for sustainable meat push the factory to innovate constantly. At noon, John joins co-workers in the break room, where laughter over sandwiches lifts the mood. "This crew's my lifeline," he says. Physically, the job's brutal, repetitive motions leave his shoulders aching. And despite strict safety protocols, cuts are a risk. Mentally, it's heavier. Ending lives daily sticks with you, John admits, especially amid animal welfare debates. His $20.00/hour wage, it's steady, not a jackpot, he says. Ethically, John wrestles with his role. Our factory's humane standards are strict, unlike some shady outfits, he notes. Still, long hours strain his family time and he misses his kids' games. Tariffs and market swings cut overtime, adding financial stress. Yet tech investments offer hope, like training programs John eyes for a promotion. How does he balance it all? Share your thoughts with Processing Factory Life. At 5:00 p.m., the processing factory winds down. John hoses his station, aided by automated cleaning systems that outpace older plants. Exhausted, he says, finishing a shift is a small victory. Driving home under a golden sunset, he reflects. The processing factory keeps his family afloat, but long-term health worries loom. Chronic pain from repetitive work and stress-related medical costs are real risks. Morally, the job's weight persists. You cope, but it never fully leaves you, John says. Socially, he's drifted from friends who don't understand his work. Still, he takes pride in feeding millions and shares consumer tips. Check USDA labels and freeze meat within 2 days for freshness. The factory's tech and scale give it an edge, but tariffs, costs, and labor shortages threaten stability. For John, the job's a lifeline, not a future. "I want better for my kids," he says, sipping a beer on his porch.
In Florida's steamy swamps, where alligators lurk beneath the surface, a unique industry turns these ancient predators into food and fashion. Alligator farming and processing blend rugged tradition with modern commerce, captivating America's taste for the wild and the profitable. How does a creature once on the brink of extinction become a cornerstone of Florida's economy? Let's explore the swamps and processing factories to uncover the story. Alligator farming in Florida emerged from a conservation crisis. By the 1960s, overhunting had slashed American alligator populations, landing them on the endangered species list in 1967. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service estimated fewer than 500,000 remain nationwide, down from millions in the 1800s. In response, Florida legalized farming in 1988, allowing ranchers to collect wild eggs under strict permits. Today, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, FWC, reports over 1.3 million wild alligators, with farms raising thousands more. This shift, driven by swamp harvests and processing factories, saved a species and built an industry. Science fuels this success. Alligators, unchanged for millions of years, thrive in Florida's warm, wet climate. A 2018 University of Florida study found farm-raised alligators grow to 6 feet in about 18 to 24 months, faster than wild ones thanks to controlled feeding, often poultry scraps. In the processing factory, their value shines. Meat offers 23 grams of protein per 3.5-ounce serving, per USDA data. And hides boast a tough, flexible scale pattern. Dr. Frank Mazzotti, a University of Florida crocodilian expert, notes, "Their skin's durability beats most leathers. It's why they're prized." Ever wondered how science turns a swamp beast into a resource? It's all in biology. The journey begins with farmers like John Tanner, a veteran from Lake City. "It's not for the faint-hearted," he says, recalling a 10-foot gator nearly capsizing his airboat during egg collection. Each summer, farmers gather up to 45,000 eggs statewide under FWC oversight, hatching them in fenced, water-filled pens. The work is risky. An FWC report logged 14 farm injuries in 2021, mostly minor bites or bruises. "One good haul covers my truck payment," Tanner adds. These hatchlings grow fast, destined for the processing factory. What would you be brave for a gig like that? At the processing factory, alligators become food. Facilities like those in Homestead skin and butcher with efficiency. "It's hot, wet work," says Carla Ortiz, a line worker with 8 years' experience, as she slices a tail into steaks. The meat, mild, slightly chewy, sells for $12 to $15 per pound, with Florida producing about 250,000 pounds yearly, per industry estimates. Compared to beef, $6 to $8 per pound, it's a niche treat popular in southern dishes like gator gumbo. Folks love the novelty, Ortiz says. Ever tasted alligator? It's less fishy than you'd expect. The processing factory also transforms hides into luxury. After tanning, a single 6-foot alligator hide fetches $200 to $250. According to a 2022 Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries report, a close analog as Florida data aligns, this feeds a $25 million annual trade in Florida, crafting boots, belts, and bags, some retailing for $5,000 or more. Hide pays for a week's labor, says factory supervisor Mike Dukes, showing a polished brown skin. Compared to cowhide, $40 to $60, it's a premium product, rivaling crocodile leather from Australia. Ever owned something this wild? Not everyone sees it as glamorous. Conservationist Laura Evans, who tracks wild gators, cautions, farming helps, but wild habitats need protection too. In the processing factory, worker Jamal Reed keeps it real. I cut meat, not fairy tales, it's a paycheck. For Tanner, it's deeper. My dad hunted them, now I farm them. His family, he says. Their stories ground the industry's shine in sweat and reality. Whose take hits home for you? The guardian, the worker, or the legacy keeper? From swamp to trade, Florida's alligator industry is a tale of resilience and reinvention. In South Dakota's endless prairies where 30,000 bison roam, America's toughest beast awaits your attention. Curious why ranchers battle blizzards for them? How their journey through the processing factory crafts a leaner, tastier meat that's booming, a $450 million industry. Want to taste the future? What's stopping you from exploring bison over beef? Dive into trending farm this wild ride. Bison once thundered across North America in the tens of millions, a living icon of the untamed West. By the late 1800s, though, their numbers crashed to under 500 due to overhunting and westward settlement. as tracked by the American Bison Society. South Dakota, home to the Lakota and other native tribes who saw bison as sacred, witnessed both their near demise and their comeback. Today, the state hosts one of the biggest bison populations in the U.S., with over 30,000 head, according to the National Bison Association. This revival isn't just a conservation win. It's the backbone of modern ranches and processing factories, honoring a rich past. How do you think history shapes what's on your dinner table? Science explains why bison outlast cattle in tough conditions. Research from South Dakota State University shows they're built for harsh weather, with thick hides and a metabolism that powers through blizzards that wipe out traditional herds. Their grazing boosts biodiversity. Rotational grazing at places like 777 Bison Ranch regrows prairie grasses, a fact backed by a 2022 Journal of Range Management study. At the processing factory, their meat shines, leaner than beef, with 25% less fat and more omega-3s per USDA data. Measured in pounds, a typical bison tips the scales at up to 2,000 pounds. Pure natural engineering. Ever wondered why some meats feel better for you? The people behind this journey give it soul. Jim Aspman, a third-generation rancher at Dakota Pure Bison, leans on a fence as a herd rumbles by. My granddad started with 20 bison, he says. Now we've got 400, and every day's a challenge, weather, market, you name it. The processing factory is where it all comes together. At Dakota Pure Bison's facility, it starts with humane harvesting fast. Respectful and up to strict standards, safe for all audiences. Carcasses roll to workers, trimming meat with skill and care. You've got to know the animal. Machines pack cuts for shipping or grind burgers, each step turning wild bison into something primal yet modern. South Dakota Department of Agriculture stats show over 50,000 bison processed statewide in 2024, proof of the industry's scale. Ever toured a factory like this? What do you think it smells like? At the processing factory, worker Maria Gomez adds, "Cutting bison's tougher than beef, but it feels good knowing it's special." Dr. Christy Kamek, an animal science expert at South Dakota State University, chimes in, "Bison's sustainability is unmatched. It's why I study them." Their stories blend grit and pride. What would you ask these folks if you met them? Stack bison up against crocodile farming, another niche trade. In Australia, farms like those in Queensland process 15,000 crocs a year for leather and meat, pulling in $20 million per a 2021 government report, far less than bison's haul. Crocodile meat's lean but lacks bison's cultural weight or nutrition. Croc conservation leans on tourism, not food security, unlike South Dakota's bison ranches. Beef towers over both in size, but falls short on sustainability and health perks. Bison's processing factories bridge wild roots and practical use in a way rivals can't touch. Which meat's story hooks you most? South Dakota's bison industry isn't just hanging on, it's booming, fueled by heritage, science, and market smarts. Processing factories turn raw toughness into meat that's healthier, tastier, and gentler on the land. Financial forecasts hint at bigger things. If bison snags just 1% of beef's market, it could hit $1 billion. For ranchers like Assman, it's personal. This is our legacy. Bison don't quit, and neither will we. For you, it's a chance to eat with purpose. The star is the automated stunning system, using AI-guided bolt guns that deliver a humane knockout in under a second. Then, there's the robotic carcass splitter, equipped with laser-guided blades. It slices a carcass in 0.2 seconds with 99% accuracy, far surpassing human precision. Conveyor belts, moving at 500 carcasses per hour, tie it all together. This tech cuts human error by 95%, Sarah explains proudly. In Florida's steamy swamps, where alligators lurk beneath the surface, a unique industry turns these ancient predators into food and fashion. Alligator farming and processing blend rugged tradition with modern commerce, captivating America's taste for the wild and the profitable. How does a creature once on the brink of extinction become a cornerstone of Florida's economy? Let's explore the swamps and processing factories to uncover the story. Alligator farming in Florida emerged from a conservation crisis. According to a 2022 Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries report, a close analog as Florida data aligns, this feeds a $25 million annual trade in Florida, crafting boots, belts, and bags, some retailing for $5,000 or more. Hide pays for a week's labor, says factory supervisor Mike Dukes, showing a polished brown skin. Compared to cowhide, $40 to $60, it's a premium product, rivaling crocodile leather from Australia. Ever owned something this wild? Not everyone sees it as glamorous. Conservationist Laura Evans, who tracks wild gators, cautions, farming helps, but wild habitats need protection too. In the processing factory, worker Jamal Reed keeps it real. I cut meat, not fairy tales, it's a paycheck. For Tanner, it's deeper. My dad hunted them, now I farm them. His family, he says. Their stories ground the industry's shine in sweat and reality. Whose take hits home for you? The guardian, the worker, or the legacy keeper? From swamp to trade, Florida's alligator industry is a tale of resilience and reinvention.
AI technologies are gradually developing and created by human hands. What if each processing factory gradually has fewer people working? Please share your thoughts below in the comments section of this video. And lastly, don't forget to recommend the channel to your friends so they can watch too. Thank you and goodbye. See you again in the next videos.